We haven't had any substantial rain in weeks, and so this gives us some concern about our well water. So today I'm just running the water so that I can get it ready for a sample. And while we're doing that, I'm going to feed the squirrels. They like to get their peanuts every morning. We feel like we spend sometimes more money feeding the birds and the squirrels than we do feeding ourselves. Anyway, we have some peanuts here, and I'm just going to pop those in the container. And meanwhile, the water is still running in the background for the water sample. So I'm just going to wrap up these peanuts and tuck them back in the freezer and take them out to the yard to feed the little fellas. There's one of our dogs waiting for me, and you can see the squirrel house, and I'm going to try and get these up here. I'm not as tall as my husband. He's usually feeding them, so I just kind of have to throw them up there and hope for the best. So the second squirrel house is out back here on the tree next to our shed, and I'm going to do the same thing, just kind of throw them up there. It's even higher. You can see them raining down, but I don't think the squirrels will care. They'll find their food. I have to do some laundry today. I left this load hanging on the line last night, and so I need to get it in and make sure I'm shaking the bugs out of it. It's always nice putting clothes on the line. We do it all year long, and I'm just gonna fast forward through this laundry segment because if you're like me, you like watching laundry come off the line. So as I'm doing this, I'm feeling it in my arms. My husband usually does the laundry when he's home, but when he's off to work, some days I like to take it in off the line myself, and there we go. So I'm gonna pack up this and we'll head off and start watering the plants. Now keep in mind that these gardens really do not look like much. We bought this property 2 years ago and we have put hardly any money into it, but we've been trying to fix it up and at least get some things established so that we can have a great garden for pollinators and a great garden to just enjoy. So we need to bring in better soil, and I do that when I'm planting plants, but for now it's looking really dry. And hopefully next year will be on our year where the plants really leap. I'm watching the daisies and the coneflowers and the black-eyed Susans quite closely this year because I've noticed a couple of funky blooms. They, by looking online, I can see that they might have a mite, one of my plants, and I get worried that they could even potentially have asters yellow, which is not good. But I'm watching closely and we'll see what happens. So I'm watering up the fruit trees. We planted 6 of them our first year here, and 2 of them died over the winter, so we planted another one, and we have 3 pears growing on that one right now. So we've got some apple trees and pear trees, a cherry tree, and a plum tree that's got lots coming. So this garden here is next to impossible to do plantings. It's built under the trees, it's riddled with roots. So all of the plantings have been shallow, but there's nothing in here except for a ton of ferns. Ferns grow everywhere on our property, everywhere. Even in the middle of the driveway, you can find a fern. So here's either the black-eyed Susan or the brown-eyed Susan. I never quite know the difference between the two. I need to solidify that. But that plant I moved, and it needs a ton of water every day. So we live in the North Bruce Peninsula, and there are a lot of late bloomers here. So these plants you can see elsewhere, even other places on the peninsula. These plants have already been in bloom for some time, but not here. So these are hostas that I've brought from a friend, and we've got some daisies that we're kicking around in the yard. These are sneezeweed. I'm watching those closely for either Astor's yellow or any kind of mite. I've just been reading a lot about it on gardening groups, so I don't want anything like that to happen there. So we're hoping that this fills out next year. It's done a huge leap in fruitfulness from last year, but it still looks pretty barren, and the plants, some of them do look pretty sad. Over here, I rescued this hydrangea at the side of the road. When we first bought the property, it was a mass of sticks, and it sat out in behind our house for about a month or so before I planted it, and look what it's become this year. Last year we got 2 flowers on it. This one had no flowers, or I think it had 1. Now it's just blossoming everywhere. I hope these double scoop coneflowers really grow next year. And these fleabane plants look like a bunch of tiny little daisies. They're everywhere on the property. I need to decide whether to keep them or to move them all to one spot, but I think the pollinators like them. We've got our houseplants outside, so I do a quick little water of some of those because I do think when they're out in the sun, they need more water than they would when they were inside. Of course, we need to fill up the dog bowl. Here's our lettuce table. It was the victim of overwatering earlier in the summer, but we've been using it a lot lately. We've got our raspberries. I saw flowers, but no berries this year. Here are our zucchinis. We've got lots of yellow flowers coming, our chives, and we eat those pretty much every meal. They've been successful. Our celery is doing really well, and we should be able to harvest next week, I think. We've got 4 bundles of celery, I think, 4 bunches or whatever you call them. And our baby tomatoes, we've got some red ones starting here. They're pretty much everywhere, all over the plant. We'll have a great crop there. Our green peppers, they're actually red peppers, but by the time they turn red, it will probably be October. So I'm not sure whether we'll just eat them green or what. And we've got our tomatoes. So on the far side of the garden, we have a bunch of strawberries, but they're past. We've eaten them all. And here we have some cabbage. That'll be a late harvest. And some kale, and I just planted some lettuces, those 2 little tiny rows there. So that's it for today, and the dogs say thanks for watching.